I'm Greg Owen, motorcyclist and lawyer. I've been riding, racing, building, and collecting motorcycles for the past 40 years. During my time as a professional motocross racer in the 70s, I decided to give up my racing career and become a lawyer. I did that to help other riders who had nowhere else to turn. Over the course of my 30-year career, I've represented hundreds of injured clients and resolved their cases for more than $900 million. My goal is to tell the history of motorcycling in America, one bike and one rider at a time. We're at Vendors Row here at the Love Ride, and one of the products that really stands out, it stands above the rest, are these Nexx helmets. Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about your helmet line?
Yeah, so Nexx is actually a Portuguese brand. They've been doing three-quarter helmets for about 10 years now. They entered the US market in 2008, and we've been introducing the full-face helmets since about 2 years ago. Ever since then, we've just been improving, doing a lot of R&D, a lot of development, and really just showing off our helmets and really showing everybody how light, how ergonomically functional this helmet is for the rider. You know, featuring, of course, the lightweight helmet being 2 pounds 7 ounces.
Wow, that's the lightest helmet I've ever felt.
Yeah, this is indeed the lightest helmet on the market in the US. And the cool thing is it's a fully functional system where it's not just lightweight, but it's very aerodynamic. With those two packages, your head's not going to be moving around, and you're also not going to have a lot of strain.
Let me stop you. When you say it's aerodynamic, let's turn it sideways so the folks can see. I look at the back, okay, and I see that they're like, oh, there's a shape to it.
Yeah.
I've never seen that on other helmets.
Yeah, a lot of the helmets, you know, they're designed, it has a really big back end, and when you're wearing suits or jackets, you know, when you try to move your head back, you're often hitting the back of your suit, which is really not comfortable. This helmet is actually really cut short in the back, so it's made so that you have a lot of clearance, and also that it's tilted down so that your head's not going to be buffeting around, especially when you turn your head side to side. Your head's not going to be kicked around and whatnot.
So also, I guess, by having a short back end, if you're riding a sport bike with a really aggressive arm position, this would be good, right?
Right, especially for road racing. You know, when they're able to get as small as possible in their bike, trying to get in their bubble, they don't need to crank their head when they're trying to get into small. They can naturally just put their head down and look out and just go as fast as they can. But with that, you know, we have extended our field of vision from the left to right and also top to bottom. So being able to see from left to right without seeing the helmet, you know, it's really more of a safety issue, because when you're taking seconds away, looking away to see if a car is coming, you're taking a second away from looking forward, and that's where you want to go. You don't want to go sideways, you don't want to go into a car. But also, just like I said, a full package thing, looking from left to right, if your head's not moving because of the aerodynamics and you're still be able to see in front of you and in back of you, you're able to see you have a more secure ride and more safety-wise, you know.
No, all of those issues seem like they're good issues, and it seems like your helmet has worked on a lot of them and actually took care of them. Now, let me ask you a couple other questions. I see here that you have these, what would you call them, flip-up helmets? What are those called?
These are modular helmets. Let me grab one real quick.
Yeah, please.
These are our modulars, something that a lot of Harley riders and BMW riders are now starting to pick up. We offer basically the ergonomics of having an internal visor, which is adjustable.
That is a nice feature.
And then you can also, you know, if you want to smoke a cigar while you ride, you can always just flip it up. But there is a permanent chin bar. This is considered a full-face helmet. This is really because we believe in protection. We don't believe...
Well, I want to really point this out, okay? As we know on other flip-up helmets, once you flip this section up, there's nothing in front of your face.
Right.
So if you go down, your face hits the pavement, it's bad.
Right. Or even when it's fully sealed, even if you do go down, you still have that vulnerability of this whole piece coming up, whereas opposed to our helmet, there's no way this can come up. This may come up, but you still have the extra chin bar to protect you.
I've been riding motorcycles for 40 years. I've never seen that feature. I think it's a great feature.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, it's like the old days with dirt bikes. They had the open face helmets, then they went to the chin bar.
Right.
But at first, I don't know if you remember, they went to the chin bars that were just snapped on.
Right.
You hit, they fell off.
They fall off.
You know, it didn't work. Well, that helmet, if we look at it, we know that this is a color that would stand out.
Yeah.
And if you're touring across the country, maybe did a tour around the world, that'd be a good helmet, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
you can definitely see this from miles away. We have actually 2 racers that rock this neon yellow and the neon orange color, and you can literally see them the entire track around, and you can point them out, see where exactly they are. You know, you stick another rider that has just a plain white helmet, you know, they get sort of lost in the bubble of things, and not as loud as this helmet will ever be. So.
Well, I think another interesting point is, now people around the world will see this video, and this isn't made in China, is it?
No.
It's made in Portugal.
It's made in Portugal. We do our own testing. We have our own ECE lab. ECE is the European standard of testing helmets, just like DOT is here. It is not Snell approved, but our ECE testing proves that it is more sufficient and more consistent with, you know, good products. One thing is, every time we make a batch of these helmets, ECE will actually test a batch of those, as opposed to DOT and Snell, well, they'll only test one out of the generation, you know. And we actually have our own ECE lab in our manufacturing department. So
let me ask this question. It's not Snell approved, but is it DOT approved?
It's DOT approved and it's ECE approved.
Okay.
So ECE approved makes it pretty much standard with the Snell, with what people know about Snell, but you know, as times go on, people are realizing that ECE really is the new rating to go with instead of Snell.
I actually know that. I've talked to scientists that do testing on these helmets, you know, the drop anvil testing, and they tell me that the European Union testing requires a lot more protection than the Snell approval.
Right.
Another interesting point you just pointed out to me is, you know, what is it, closed cell that they press inside the helmet?
Yeah.
To take the shock? Well, if your machine doesn't operate right after 100 helmets, you might get 500 that are bad.
Right.
With what you're talking about is they're testing it every so often to make sure that they're coming out consistent.
Yeah. So here's one thing though, is that every time we create these helmets, if our production is a little off and our ECE test proves that this helmet is not suffice enough, we just destroy the entire batch, you know. As opposed to DOT, when we bring it over, you know, they already assume that this new production line is going to be the same as the last production line. There is no guarantee, but because we have our own independent lab in-house, we're able to test the majority of our helmets and make sure that everything is consistent. You know, this is not something you want to mess around with as far as protection of the head goes, and we just want to make sure everybody is protected.
Well, I can tell you this much, you've sold one customer, and I'm not just kidding. I want to get one of these. So the one I really like is, you know, I've got a lot of old bikes, vintage cafe racers, and I love the checkered board. So where could I go to buy that helmet?
You can go to www.nexx-usa.com. You can check out our full list of dealers that we have around the country. Or you can go directly on our website, or you can find us at one of these trade shows and be able to get a discount, as this is the only place we discount them, just to give a little bit more incentive on our helmets and whatnot.
Off the helmet issue for a minute. Do you ride?
I ride. I actually road race here in California.
You do?
Yeah.
So, Willow Springs, that sort of thing?
Willow Springs, Buttonwillow, I do Wero, AFM. You know, I try to do as much racing as I can, just because you know, I am also a tester, so being out there testing all these helmets, making sure that what we give out to our customers is really exactly what we say that it is, you know, and you know, no frills, no you know, gimmicks. It's what it is, and we, you know, I like to prove it out, because what we do on track, actually, I work with a bunch of the track organizations here in Southern California. We demo these helmets out.
Oh.
So instead of you guys risking $400 to $600 on a helmet that you guys never heard about or heard about here and there, you guys can actually come to the track, ride in a safe environment, and also be able to try one of our helmets out and really make a decision for yourself.
Like on a track day?
Yep, on
That
the track
is
day.
a great idea.
Yep.
Well, I got to tell you, thanks for spending this time with us.
No problem.
And I'm going to connect with you. I might take you up on that show discount.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.